Hello, Newcastle fans. Today's video is packed with emotion, farewells, controversy, and even a transfer twist. We've got 3 huge stories about the Magpies, and the last one, well, it's a real mind-blower. A player who was just a step away from joining another club might now end up at St. James Park, and that could change everything for next season. So get ready, because before we hit that final bombshell, there's already a lot of hot news to unpack. Our News 1, the future of Callum Wilson. Let's start with a name that has long symbolized hope and goals in Newcastle's attack, Callum Wilson. The 33-year-old striker is at a crossroads. His contract with the club enters its final 12 days, and so far, no extension. No confirmation, no announcement, no agreement. And of course, that's got the whole fan base on alert. Could this be the end of the road for Wilson at St. James Park? And it didn't take long for a strong opinion to emerge, this time from former England centre-back Julian Lescott. He said Wilson should say goodbye to Newcastle and look for a fresh start. In his view, the perfect destination would be Everton, who are in need of an experienced striker with a nose for goal. Lescott even praised Wilson's style of play, highlighting his grit, work rate, and mentality that would suit the Toffees fan base. But why all the uncertainty surrounding Wilson? Well, last season was rough. Really rough. He struggled with injuries, missed several games, and when he did return, it was often just for the final few minutes. And here's the problem. He didn't score a single Premier League goal coming off the bench. For a number 9, that's a serious concern, especially when the club is clearly looking ahead and exploring new attacking options. Newcastle, for instance, are reportedly interested in Joao Pedro from Brighton, a young, skillful player with strong resale value. Another name that's emerged is Will Ojala, potentially lined up to be Isaac's understudy, with Isaac now firmly established as a first-choice striker. These kinds of moves suggest the club is actively preparing for a possible Wilson exit. But how does Wilson himself feel? Speaking on the High Performance podcast, he opened up. He said he's at peace with his journey. Money is no longer an issue. He can support his family comfortably, but his hunger for football remains as strong as ever. And despite watching Isaac scoring and starting every week, Wilson admits it still frustrates him not to be in the starting 11. He wants more. He still believes he has plenty to offer. He even sent a clear message: I want to leave football before football leaves me. In other words, he doesn't want to fade out, and he certainly doesn't want injuries to decide when his career ends. According to him, he's 100% fit, has had 4 months of full fitness, but has only played around 250 to 300 minutes. And that's tough for any competitive athlete. So the big question is, does the club still believe in him? Or is it time to move on? Wilson joined Newcastle in 2020 from Bournemouth and quickly became a key figure, scoring vital goals and leading in the dressing room. But time moves on. Football can be cruel, and the coming days will be crucial. Will he renew? Accept a performance-based deal with reduced wages? Or will he take Lescott's advice and look for a new challenge in the Premier League? One thing's for sure, Callum Wilson's future has turned into a full-blown saga. And the ending might just surprise us all. News 2, is St. Maximin still one of US? Now here's one that'll hit you right in the feels. St. Maximin, the player who made everyone fall in love with Newcastle, has spoken about the club again, and this time straight from the heart. Even though he's currently playing for Al Ahly and just went through a tough season at Fenerbahce under Mourinho, the Frenchman has shown that he still deeply misses his time on Tyneside. He even replied to a fan on X, formerly Twitter, with a simple but powerful message: I miss you a lot too. And of course, the fan base went wild. Loads of people begging, bring him back. Could it happen? No one knows yet. But one thing's clear, the affection is real. In his farewell letter, he said he became a true Geordie, and he made a promise. He'll keep supporting Newcastle as the biggest fan in the world. Will he return? That's still a mystery. But one thing we do know, he's never left the hearts of the fans. News 3. This week's big twist, Newcastle surprise in the market. Hey, it is the headline story, the one you've seen on the video thumbnail, the one that's got every Newcastle fan talking. A classic transfer drama, complete with a twist, a race against time, and a shocking turn at the end. It all started with the name Jacob Behal, a 26-year-old Slovenian centre-back from Udinese. He's been a standout in Serie A, and according to both Italian and British sources, he was all set to join Leeds United. That's right, verbal agreement done, medicals scheduled, deal basically sealed. It looked like a matter of hours before the official announcement dropped. But then, out of nowhere, the rumors started flying. And not just from random sources. Top-tier transfer accounts began reporting that Newcastle United had jumped into the mix. That's right, the Magpies were apparently trying to hijack the deal and bring B-Hall straight to St. James Park. As expected, that sent the fan base into meltdown. Everyone knows the defense needs urgent reinforcements. Last season made that painfully clear. Too many goals conceded, not enough options, injuries everywhere, and a drop in defensive quality. So the idea of signing an experienced international-level centre-back in his prime had fans buzzing. If you don't know him, B-Hall is a modern defender, dominant in the air, composed on the ball, and with great tactical awareness. He's also a key player for Slovenia's national team, who are heading to the Euros. He would have been a quality signing, especially at a reported fee of £13 to £15 million, a bargain in today's market. For a while, it looked like Newcastle were really going for it. The buzz felt real, the sources were solid, and even English journalists began hinting at a potential hijack. But then, the cold water came. Fabrizio Romano, the king of transfer news, stepped in to clear things up. Despite the rumors, Newcastle were never officially in the race for Jacob B-Hall. The deal with Leeds is done, and he will join them. Game over? Not quite. Even though Fabrizio shut down the dream, this whole episode reveals something far more important. Newcastle are very much alive in the market, especially when it comes to defensive reinforcements. The club might not have formally bid for B-Hall, but just being linked to him shows that the scouting department is alert and ready to act fast if the right chance pops up. So what's next? Aside from B-Hall, Newcastle are still monitoring Mark Guehi, the Crystal Palace centre-back and club captain. His young, Premier League proven, with England potential, and highly rated by Eddie Howe and his staff. He'd cost more, of course, around £45 to £50 million. But the interest is real. And there's more. Another hot name is goalkeeper James Trafford, who could actually arrive before a new defender. Trafford reportedly already has a personal agreement with Newcastle, and now the club are just waiting for the Euros and the right timing to strike a deal with Burnley. In other words, the window hasn't even officially opened yet, and Newcastle are already moving. The B-Hall saga might have ended elsewhere, but it shows one thing clearly. The Magpies are watching everything. And behind the scenes, they are building the squad that will aim to take us back to Europe's elite. Stay tuned. There's plenty more to come. So that's it. Toon Army. Callum Wilson could be on his way out. St. Maximin sent a heartfelt message, and Newcastle are already plotting their next big moves in the transfer market, even if some targets get away. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep up with everything happening behind the scenes of the club, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell. And let me know in the comments, would you welcome St. Maximin back? And what about Wilson? Should he stay or go? More news coming tomorrow, so I'll see you then. And as always, hoey the lads.